Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
When we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel. I want to praise
Now, listen, a couple things today on today's show. Got a guest coming up 90 minutes into the show, which is 7:30 a.m. because it's 6 a.m. now, 6:02 in the morning. And the guest that I have on at 7:30 will not be on YouTube. Will not be on YouTube. So I am telling you to hear the guest at 7:30, which is 90 minutes into the show. You're going to either have to listen on one of our radio stations or go to iHeartRadio, WWNN, iHeartRadio, SteveCaneShow.com. The guest at 7:30 will not be on YouTube. In fact, I'm going to stop the YouTube video at that time before we go to the guest. Just giving you guys heads up. Welcome, welcome, everyone.
They all have that you can trust them and you know you're getting a fair shake. Do what Ray did. Call it
That's right.
Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855
What's up?
3782. 1-855 toll free FLA 3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470.
Just so you guys know. So you can still listen on one of our radio stations or iHeartRadio.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve.
That's right.
You all right?
Yeah, everything's cool.
You're hacking.
Let's clear my throat. Clear my throat. I know. All right, welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right. That's what makes this the longest running radio show in the state of Florida. I know people challenge this. People challenge the title, but The Steve Kane Show does hold that title. Well, I don't want to say undisputed because people sometimes call me to dispute it. And then I tell them, and they're like, oh, no, we can't beat that. The Steve Kane Show has been on the radio in South Florida since Star Wars' original release in theaters in 1977. I was 6 and not a part of the show then, but the show goes on. Welcome, everyone. It is Friday, the most important Steve Kane Show of the week, because, of course, this is not just our morning show this Friday morning, our overnight rebroadcast for the entire weekend. And over the weekend, because we're on the air live Monday through Friday from 6 until 9 a.m. with overnight rebroadcast midnight till 6 a.m. 7 nights a week. That's right, midnight till 6 a.m. 7 nights a week. And the Friday show runs on our weekend overnight all weekend long. So the Friday edition of the Steve Kane Show is the most important show of the week because it airs a total of 36 times. I know, I did the counting several times. 36 times this show will air before we return live to you Monday morning at 6 a.m. So we always want to make sure that the Friday show is the best, and we've got a lot going on. Ed Pasquale will be here in the 8 o'clock hour with Steve. And at 7:30, we have a special guest on the program that you will not want to miss. We don't have a lot of guests. The guests that we have on the show are special. They're all special. We have a special guest joining us at 7:30 a.m. this morning. And while we live stream the show on YouTube Live each and every day, Brian Craig on YouTube, the guest will not be on YouTube. So to hear the guest at 7:30, you're going to have to listen on one of our radio stations, on iHeartRadio, the TuneIn app, or SteveCaneShow.com. I will actually be shutting down the YouTube during the interview. You may wonder why. I'm not going to tell you why, but you may figure it out during the course of the interview. So that's going to be at 7:30. Until then, we've got a lot to talk about. Your calls are welcome. We'll kind of keep it open phone. I hate to say it because Rush has been doing that forever. I don't want to say open phone Friday, but what else am I going to say? We'll keep it open phone so long as it is relevant to the discussion of what we're dealing with today at 1-888-GO-CANE. 1-888-465-2631. Joe Biden was on Lawrence O'Donnell's show on MSNBC and said that he would not even vote for himself. Imagine, this is your... No, he did. He said he wouldn't even vote for himself. I'll play you the audio in just a moment. Do you all really think Joe Biden is going to be the nominee of the Democrat Party? Do you really think he is going to be the nominee? There was a strange moment on MSNBC yesterday, or I'm sorry, Fox News yesterday. Yesterday afternoon on Fox News, they had the DNC communications director on, who I don't know her name. It's the second time I've seen her on Fox News. She is always hysterical. She's always losing her mind. And she was on Fox News Channel yesterday afternoon, and she said something really strange, which I'm going to play for you right now. And it was about Joe Biden getting the nomination and about the Democrat convention. Let me play this for you. This is the communications director for the Democrat National Committee. Listen, Fox News yesterday.
I mean, there's a real possibility the convention does not happen, or it happens in a virtual sense. Is that correct?
Well, our convention, well, first of all, our convention has to happen because we are not officially nominating Joe Biden in order to take Donald Trump. So our convention is happening. There is business that has to happen.
Okay, so is she... There's a lot of online Twitter debate about this. Is she saying that they're not going to nominate Biden? Is that what she's saying? You know, this woman, again, first time I saw her was a few days ago, so I don't even know her name yet. She's very fun to watch because she's always losing her mind. You think she's got a boyfriend or is married? Oh my gosh. God help him. But it sounds as if the communications director for the DNC is saying Joe Biden's not going to get the nomination. I don't know exactly what... If not Biden, who? 1-888-GO-CANE-1. A couple questions out there. Do you think Joe Biden is really going to get the nomination? If not, then who? You know, we talk a lot about the sacrifice candidate. There's all these sacrifice candidates. People get nominated because, you know, it's like Mike, you'll eat it, he'll eat anything. There's a lot of people that have carried the water of the party. There's an incumbent president or a very populist candidate that everyone knows is going to win, like Donald Trump. So the opposing party they have to nominate someone, so they put up with what is referred to as a sacrifice candidate, someone who's done their work for the party. They're deserving of having the status of being the party's nominee for President of the United States, so they nominate someone and run them. Bob Dole, 1996, against Bill Clinton in his reelection, sacrifice candidate. Who were some others? I would even argue John McCain in 2008, right, was a sacrifice candidate. Walter Mondale against Ronald Reagan. There's all these sacrifice candidates all the time. And the question is that what they're doing with Biden? Is he one of these candidates because they've got to nominate someone? I mean, there are a lot of people out there that don't mind getting the nomination and losing because they know they'll lose anyway, but they want the status of being a nominee. So I know a lot of people are saying Fredo's brother, Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York. I don't think so. I think that there is a very good chance that Andrew Cuomo will be the next president after Trump. A lot can happen. Sending all these people to the nursing homes to die, that could come back, and haunt it. But he is a Democrat, and they get a lot of passes, Democrats. But right now, I would say not only is Andrew Cuomo the favorite to be the nominee in 2024, he is the most likely Democrat and the most likely person to be the next president of the United States after Trump, if it's a Democrat. Again, it's 100 years away. A lot can happen. Most presidents do not come from Congress. Most presidents, there's some exceptions to this. Most presidents come from governors. That's why Ron DeSantis is the governor now and left Congress. Okay? But let's be honest. Okay, you see the treatment he gets. You see the way he carries himself. He's a jerk. I don't like him. But I think his brother dislikes him more than I do and you do, right? Wouldn't you think? You see these interactions they have on television. But he's a legitimate candidate. He's a legitimate person. He's a serious candidate. And I don't think Cuomo would take the nomination right now against Trump that's going to be a loser when in 2024 he could come in and do what his daddy never could do, and that is get the nomination and the presidency. It's possible. God help us, right? Because New York is a complete failure. So I don't think it'll be Cuomo. So if it's not Biden, then who? Who would they put up? If it's not Biden, his candidacy is literally a joke. And the main problem with Biden, beyond the fact that he's a corrupt public official, beyond the sleaze that we know is true about him, is that he is in such severe mental decline, he is not mentally competent. I mean, here's a clip of him talking about getting briefed he gets briefed every day by the same person on coronavirus for 90 minutes. Can you imagine what a waste of time that is? Just read the paper, Joe. But he cannot even remember, listen to this clip, he cannot even remember who voted for him. Or I'm sorry, I can't even remember what I was going to say. Who am I, right? No, he can't even remember who briefs him.
I'm not, and I have a like all of you, but every day I between an hour and a half brief with a former head of our former Surgeon General. Anyway, with docs across the country.
I mean, it's embarrassing. I don't like to play the Biden clips. I don't like to play the Biden clips because I don't like to mock someone who's suffering in such severe mental decline. It is sad. I don't enjoy it. I know a lot of people play and laugh. That's not me. I mean, here's another clip, this online thing he did yesterday. Listen to this. He's talking about the number of jobs lost and the number of who have died due to coronavirus.
This is not a moment for excuses or deflections or blame game. We're in the middle of a pandemic that had cost us more than 85,000 jobs as of today.
Oh, man.
Lives of millions of people.
Okay, so, there you got it. He's just in severe mental decline, and it's sad. It's very sad. So if he's not going to be the nominee, then who? Who can they put? It's not going to be Cuomo, so I don't want to hear anybody guess. Who would be the nominee that is a serious candidate? It's more serious than him. Any guesses on that? 1-888-GO-CANE-1. That's our number. Toll free from anywhere. 1-888-465-2631. 1-888-465-2631. We're going to take our break. When we get back, Biden yesterday said that he would not even vote for himself. And I'll play you the audio when we get back. This is just yesterday he said this. This should be the lead everywhere, but it's not. It's the lead here. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll break and be back. Don't go anywhere.
Frank, the owner of Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware, wants you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus pandemic and has an incredible offer for listeners of The Steve Kane Show.
We get products continually coming in during after the week. We get disinfectants, bleach, gloves, cleaning supplies. Everybody's looking for face masks. So the best thing that we came up with was a face covering. A lot of the cities are going to ask you to cover your face. So we've got a supply of bandanas. I'd love every one of your customers that come in a free bandana just for mentioning.
Yeah, Main Street, that's my
bandanas
wife.
Are face covering that cities are going to require as we start to go back to work and get out, that everybody's required to have their face covered. So you can use this bandana to cover your mouth and your nose and protect you and protect all those around you. The other thing is, while you're at home, why don't you get that honeydew list done? It's that painting project or sprinkler supply, or maybe treat yourself to a new grill.
Wow, what a great deal. These bandanas are reusable because you can wash them. So stop into Ace Hardware in Deerfield, just south of Hillsborough.
I don't take
Boulevard, on the west
anything
side of
for
US
allergies
1,
at
and
all.
Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232
That's why I'm
Commercial
hacking it so much this
Boulevard,
morning,
Lauderdale by the sea.
because
And get
everything
your
I
free
take-
bandana from Ace Hardware.
Everything I take for allergies makes me tired, and because I get up so early in the morning, I don't take anything. Take nothing. That's why I wear the Breathe Right strip so often. It opens up my nasal passages.
Drug and STD testing start at just $49.
My allergies are really bad this morning. Rich Allen came and asked if I was okay because I was hacking so much before the show.
Prescription and be in and out in 15 minutes or less.
Yeah, listeners sent me this hat. They sent me and Steve one. Steve's is blue. Mine's red. It's raining, so I wore a hat today.
954-906-5983. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located at 955 North University Drive on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood. Make sure you tell them you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back, guys. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. It is raining outside today. Oh, man, and it really... You know, that rain, we are just, what is today? Today, oh my goodness, is today the 15th? Yeah, it is. We're 2 weeks away from hurricane season. Can you, that's all we need is a hurricane after what we've been going through. Broward and Dade are opening up on Monday, thankfully so. See, didn't I tell you? Didn't I tell you? So here we are, we're finally opening up for business. It's raining today, hurricane season 2 weeks away, and that's the last thing we need, right, is a hurricane. But you know what? If a hurricane hits, I'm prepared, and you can be prepared too. And this is how you can be prepared. Call Debbie over at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. If you call right now, leave a message. If you call in the middle of the night, leave a message on their voicemail. They'll call you back during business hours. And have Debbie and her team review your homeowner's insurance policy. Review your hurricane coverage. And by the way, this doesn't just go for homeowners and condo owners. This goes for people that own commercial property as well. Make sure that everything you need and want covered in case a hurricane hits is covered. She'll also review your policy to make sure you're not paying too much for that coverage. All right, the only thing you have to lose is nothing because she's most likely going to tell you she's going to save you some money on your homeowner's policy. You know, your homeowner's insurance policy, or your property insurance, property and casualty, commercial property owners, goes up each and every year, and most people have their homeowner's insurance built into their mortgage payment. And over the years, as you pay your mortgage, you owe less money to the bank, your mortgage payment actually goes down and down and down. But because your homeowner's insurance is tied to it, somehow these insurance companies, I tell you, it's just an incredible coincidence. Your mortgage pretty much stays the same every year, right? That's because the insurance rate seems to go up at about the same rate as the mortgage payment principal is going down. So it's one of those things that you're paying each and every month that you're probably paying too much for, homeowners insurance, and you don't realize it because it's hidden inside your mortgage. So call Debbie over at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080. Listen at SteveKaneShow.com. They'll review your policy, make sure that you're not paying too much, and also make sure that you have the proper coverage that you need and want in case a hurricane hits. When we had those hurricanes a few years ago, I was fine. I had two 50-foot trees in my backyard that were ripped out of the ground. Luckily, both of them fell on neighbors' houses, not mine. And one of my neighbors didn't have the proper homeowner's insurance. And if you were listening back then, oh my gosh, it was pretty bad. Two 50-foot trees. I had these two 50-foot ficus trees. And I was watching through my hurricane doors. They were coming down. They both went down. One went down on the neighbor next to me. One went down on the neighbor behind me. And they were plenty pissed off, I'm here to tell you. But you know what? I had some damage too, but I have the proper homeowner's insurance. 954-753-8080. Debbie and I Will Advisors. Give her a call. Okay, so it's true. So Joe Biden says he would not even vote for himself if. All right, now listen, this is Joe Biden with Lawrence O'Donnell. Lawrence, I don't watch MSNBC, so if you hear me play a clip of MSNBC, I've seen it online somewhere and pulled. I can tolerate CNN. I cannot tolerate MSNBC at all. Their entire lineup, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, there's not one person there that's likable. Although I wouldn't mind if Fox News hired Chris Matthews over there. I can tolerate Chris Matthews. I think he would sound a lot more reasonable over on Fox, and you'd grow to like him. But the lineup they have over there, just unlikable people. I can't watch any. I don't care who it is. News people, opinion people. Lawrence O'Donnell is not the worst. But my least favorite is Rachel Maddow. It's just I can't. So I don't. So this is Lawrence O'Donnell. He's interviewing Biden, and they're talking about there have been Democrat women who have said two things. Some have said, I believe Tara Reid, but I'm voting for Joe Biden anyway. Yeah, and Tara Reid is alleging a sexual assault with penetration. And there are Democrat women that are saying, I believe her, but I'm still voting for Joe Biden. And then there are other Democrat women who are saying, I believe Tara Reid, and I'm not voting for Joe Biden. So Lawrence O'Donnell asked Joe Biden about this. Listen to this. This is Joe Biden yesterday.
I think they should vote their heart. And if they believe Tara Reid, they probably shouldn't vote for me. I wouldn't vote for me if I believed Tara Reid. Wow.
So if you believe Tara Reid, Joe Biden says don't vote for him. That's not saying, he does say it's not true, it didn't happen, and all this stuff. He does, whatever. What's he going to say? But he says if you believe Tara Reid, don't vote for him. That's what Joe Biden says. He says he wouldn't vote for himself. This is your candidate, people. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If I were interviewing Joe Biden, my first question would be, who's the president of the United States? Real quick, right out the box. Second question, what day is it? That's right. Those would be the first two questions that I would ask. Those are the first. And then the third question would be, what year is it? Who's the president? What day is it? What year is it? First three questions out the box if I were interviewing Joe Biden, because those are like three questions. The first three questions a doctor asks when their patient comes in who is suffering from Alzheimer's or some other cognitive issue. All right, let's go to the phones. Our number 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. First call of the day. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hey, Brian, it's
Mike in Boca. Hey, Mike, what's up?
Joe Biden is, he had a virtual roundtable yesterday with the Jersey governor
Yeah.
and the lieutenant governor, and he gaffed there with the numbers, with people out of a job.
Yeah, I know. I just played that in the first segment. You might have missed. He said 85,000 people have lost their jobs. Yeah.
That would be good, but it's not.
Yeah, we wish it was only that. It's 35 and a half or something million. I don't know. It's over 35 million. Yeah. We all. If you're a public speaker, I misspeak all the time. I misspoke earlier in the show. It happens all the time. But every time he opens up his mouth, it's a slip.
It's like you said. I always say it. It's older abuse.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
The thing is, it's basically like he's a puppet. Literally, he's a puppet, and there's someone controlling him. And
well, there's no question that if Joe Biden were the president, if he won the election, he would not be running the country. It would be his wife. Yeah.
I don't know. Allegedly, Jim's opening next week.
The what's opening?
And Jim's.
Gyms are opening next week? Where at? In Palm Beach?
It could be north of Palm Beach, or it could be Palm Beach. I don't know.
Yeah, Broward and Dade are opening up Monday, and they're keeping the beaches closed until after Memorial Day, which is next weekend.
I don't blame him. Did you see the governor yesterday on television?
I did, yeah.
And Doral? That's great that he's in Doral. Probably the president said, hey, go to Doral.
Yeah, I think they should open the beaches up, frankly, but
Well, our beach is opening this week, but I don't know what the stipulations are this Monday.
Arby's? Our beach. Oh, oh, Boca? I thought you said Arby's is opening up.
No.
You mean the beach in Boca? When's the beach in Boca opening up?
Well, this Monday, so the old Palm Beach County beach is opening up on the 18th.
On the 18th. That's okay, but not the weekend. Not this weekend.
No, not weekend. They said the 18th. They said that.
Well, why the 18th? What's the difference? What's the difference between opening the beach up on the 15th and the 18th?
He might say that they're open this weekend today. He's on the phone.
Yeah, that's right.
He's got some new things, more things opening. Maybe they decided the beach will be open this weekend. I don't know.
The beach, next weekend is Memorial Day weekend, so that would be great if the beaches are. Well, I'm gonna go if the beach is open on Monday. I'm gonna go there right after the show because the beach is 5 minutes from where I'm standing right now. So I'm gonna go to the beach. Well, that was Deerfield Beach I went to. I drove by because Boca Beach has a big land barrier. You can't see it from the road. The Deerfield Beach, you drive right on this ocean.
Sunday afternoon, we took a drive to Ace Hardware, and we came back home on A1A, and there was a lot of people out there, and there's a boat. Oh my God!
Oh yeah, which Ace Hardware did you go to?
Deerfield.
Oh, the Deerfield. Oh, on US 1, just south of Hillsboro. Let me tell you, when you go in that store, isn't it like traveling back in time? It's so nice to have customer service.
My girlfriend, they actually had a lot of masks, and they had they had 10 packs, and she was on, I need these to get them.
Oh yeah.
The price was, sometimes it was actually better than Amazon and Groupon.
That it really blew me away. The prices at Ace Hardware are very, very low, and I'll tell you, when you go into the Home Depots and Lowe's, there's no customer service. They're really annoyed. They're annoyed. And, what I feel like, I remember, how old are you, Mike?
I'm going to be 49.
Okay, 49. So you and I are the same age. So, remember, you remember you would go to like Peaches back in the 80s and 90s, the record store? Yeah, you would go to Peaches, and the people in Peaches were snobs. They all acted like they were in a rock band, you know what I mean? And you were bothering them if you go in Peaches. When I go to Lowe's or Home Depot, it's kind of like that. The people that work in there, they're like wannabe contractors or something in Lowe's and Home Depot. And I feel like they're shaming me because I don't know how to do this or I don't know how to do that or I'm asking a question that they think everyone should know. And over at Ace Hardware, it's not like that at all. They're very helpful. I remember Specs. I remember Peaches, and of course Q Records. Remember Q Records? I remember all. Yeah. That's right. Oh yeah. Yeah. All right. Take care, man. Take care. Yeah. Ace Hardware. Hey, listen. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. So Joe Biden says he wouldn't even vote for himself if he believed Terry. All right. So listen. We'll take our break. When we get back, there's so much more to talk about. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
Frank, the owner of Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware, wants you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus pandemic and has an incredible offer for listeners of The Steve Kane Show.
We get products continually coming in during after week. We get disinfectants, bleach, gloves, cleaning supplies. Everybody's looking for face masks. So the best thing that we came up with was a face covering. A lot of the cities are going to ask you to cover your face. So we've got a supply of bandanas. I'd love if every one of your customers that come in a free bandana just for mentioning the Steve Kane Show.
I am well, thank you. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'm only wearing it because it was raining this morning.
As we start to go back to work and get out, that everybody's required.
It was raining pretty hard when I came in this morning.
You can use a bandana to cover your mouth and your nose. And
I don't wear hats too often during the day.
The other thing is, while you're at home, why don't you
in the dark? If I'm out in the sun or something.
Painting project or sprinkler supply, or maybe treat yourself to a new grill.
Wow, what a great deal. These bandanas are reusable because you can wash them. So stop into Ace Hardware in Deerfield, just south of Hillsboro Boulevard on the west side of US 1, and Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea, and get your free bandana from Ace Hardware.
This is Steve Kane for
It is a nice app,
Barry
yeah.
Siegel. Barry
Yeah,
did
a listener,
great
someone
job
on
for me and
YouTube
my
gave this to
family
me.
when we needed a revocable living trust.
a nice one,
Listen to
thank
one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach for my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And Barry says every 3 years at least you got to. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information.
Yeah, Steve says in blue. I got the red one.
Most people just blow you off, right? Almost
watch, when Steve gets here today, he's going to try to get me to give him this hat.
Called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite a while with him, and I talked about a lot of things, and this and that. But I wanted to say, character.
I don't wear hats very often. Very rarely do I wear a hat. If I'm out in the sun, I'll wear a hat.
Your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that you can trust them, and you're getting with fair shake.
Do what Ray did.
I'm telling you, watch, he's going to try to get this
right
hat.
Now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
This is actually a Gay Pride Star Trek show. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome back. I was just talking to everyone in the YouTube live chat during the break. I wore my Trump 2020 hat. Well, one of the many hats I have. A listener who actually watches on YouTube live sent Steve and I both this same hat, except mine's red and Steve's is blue, but it says Trump 2020, and it is a very high quality hat. I really like it with the raised lettering and everything on it, American flag on the and everything. And I don't wear hats very often unless I'm out in the sun, but because it's raining today, it was raining pretty hard when I left the house and when I got here to the studio, so I put the hat on so I didn't get my hair wet, I guess. But that's why I wore it. I'm telling you, I didn't want to get my hair wet. So anyway, welcome back, everyone. So much happened. So there's Joe Biden wouldn't vote for himself. Okay, now, all of this unmasking, this is not high. This is true. This unmasking has revealed what is probably the biggest political crime that we've ever known about. I'm not saying it's the greatest political crime in history of this country, because probably the bigger ones we don't even know about, right, that never became public. But out of all of the political corruption that has become public in the history of this country involving the presidency, this is the largest political scandal ever. Spying on a presidential candidate, then the president-elect. And it looks as if there actually might have been an operation that Obama ordered while in the last days of his presidency. They continued the spy operation after he was no longer president. There's no question about it. No question about it. And all this talk about Obama testifying. Obama, I had a story earlier in the week, and what I was talking about with that story, it was reported, I can't remember which paper, I want to say Washington Examiner, but I can't remember which one. I did put this on Twitter earlier in the week, that on the final days of his presidency, he had about 12 days left. He called in some of his top people, including Susan Rice, who were going to hold over in the early days of the Trump administration during the transition, told them not to tell the Trump administration about this spy operation with the FISA warrants on Trump Tower. Okay, so Obama very well looks as if Obama had an illegal spy operation going on after he was president on the next president, which to me sounds like not just espionage, but perhaps even treason. But so there's no, I mean, these are very serious crimes that were committed. With that being said, Obama will never testify. I know there's a lot of talk about Obama being called to testify. That is not going to happen. And you know what? It probably should not happen. If you set up a precedent where and I know as a conservative I'm supposed to say all that stuff and everything. If you establish a precedent where the past president is called in to testify regarding crimes they may have committed on the next, what do you think Trump's going to be for the rest of his life after his second term? He's going to be in front of committees answering questions. very dangerous game people are playing here. But I think there's something that we've got to be prepared for. And I know people don't want to hear, people get very upset with me when I say this. The chances of someone big going to jail over this are slim. And I'm not talking, and when I say someone big, I'm talking at the Comey level. At the Comey level. Okay? I'm just being realistic here. Do any of you, I'm not talking about should, I'm talking about will. Do you actually believe Comey or Brennan or someone higher is going to go to jail over this? I would say no. They may throw us a Strzok or a Bruce Orr person. You know, we might get that. But I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. Doesn't mean that it shouldn't happen, and it should, and I would love to see it. But I would be shocked if I woke up one morning and saw that there had been a raid at Comey's house and he was in custody, like they did with Roger Stone. I'd be shocked. I'd be happy, but I'd be in shock. The chances of any of these people, I mean, look at the way the judge is carrying on in the Flynn case. I know someone in the chat said justice is blind. If that were only true. Yeah, and you know, like I say, Bruce Orr, Nellie Orr, Strzok. I believe Lisa Page is a cooperating witness. I believe Clapper is a cooperating witness. You know, and again, don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that they should not. They should all be thrown in the slammer. There should be some serious charges. This was illegal espionage on a presidential candidate. That was an attempt to overturn the election result, and then it turned into a coup against the sitting president of the United States. And that coup included the Mueller probe. And there are a lot of people out there that have done a lot of bad things. And, you know, this spying on the unmasking of Flynn. See, Flynn, there's a lot of disagreement about this too. A lot of people think that Flynn was being targeted because he was going to expose everything they were doing. I don't think I think Flynn was just an excuse. I think they were monitoring everyone in Trump Tower, everyone. And they needed to get that wiretap in there, so they used Flynn as an excuse to get it. That's all. With the Russian ambassador. I think they were listening to everybody and everything. Flynn, I don't think they cared about Flynn. Later on, they just, when they were trying to round people up around President Trump to get convictions on people to make Trump look guilty, he was, they were using him for that. But he was just an excuse to get the FISA warrant, in my opinion. I could be very wrong about this. But, I remember people were like, oh, lock her up with Hillary. Did any of you actually ever think a former First Lady of the United States was going to be charged with a crime and prosecuted and convicted? Are you kidding? And the same is going to go for the senior people in the Obama administration that were involved in all of this illegal activity at Trump Tower. They're going to give us some lower level people, maybe, to try to satisfy the mob. And again, I'm not saying that they shouldn't. They should. But come on. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this as well. 1-888-GO-CANE 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. 888-465-2361. 888-GO-CANE 1. That's our number. Now, this was a strange happening yesterday on CNN. Did you guys catch Clapper on CNN yesterday when the feed went dead? And they're going to excuse this to technical difficulties. I don't think so. Clapper is zoomed in or Skyped in on CNN. He's doing an interview. The interview went on for several minutes. There were no problems until Clapper was asked about people leaking things to the media. All right, listen to this. This is the end of the interview with Clapper.
So, asking for names, nothing wrong with that. Unmasking in and of itself, nothing wrong with that. Leaking classified information, and by definition, these phone calls were classified. That's a problem, correct?
Absolutely, it is.
And if anyone did leak the contents of these conversations, with or without the name, that would be a problem, yes? We've lost a shot. I wonder if we can at least get him on the phone.
Wow, so they lost it. So when they start talking to Clapper about crimes committed by, well, Obama officials, leaking classified information to the media, all of a sudden they lose the feed. That interview was like 4 or 5 minutes into the interview. Come on. And that didn't look like a lost feed. That looked like somebody shut it down to me. All right, let's take call 888 go Kane 1 888 2631. You're on the radio. Good morning.
You know who I am. I'm Ray. How you doing?
Okay. How would I know who you are before I say hello to you, Ray? Yeah, I mean, hey, how you doing, Ray? I know who you are now.
Yes, I just want to give you a comment on something.
Yeah.
I don't understand, as much as I support our president, and I agree with you on your positions, I don't understand why Barr just isn't issuing some subpoenas. Why don't they sit and have hearings and go through all that stuff? He's been investigating this for 2 years. He should have figured it out.
Yeah, and Durham has been on the case for, what, a year?
What are we going to do? Now we're going to have a whole summer of them arguing back and forth and all the nastiness and hate comes out? They should just have some subpoenas.
Yeah, and, you know, if you think about it, Ray, if you go back and you look at the history of hearings in either house of Congress, rarely do they go anywhere.
Listen, I was watching the doctor on TV yesterday for a while.
Fauci?
No, there's another doctor.
Oh, yeah, the whistleblower. Yeah, that jerk.
That reminded me of the impeachment hearings. The Democrats were using that just to slander everything they could in the president's office and the president's people.
Yeah.
That's again.
Yeah. You know, and people get upset. I see in the chat room on YouTube, people are upset. I'm not saying that Comey and Brennan and these people and Susan Rice should not go to jail. I'm not saying they shouldn't go to jail. Obama should go to jail for what he did. But I'm talking about, is it really going to happen? And I just can't get myself here screaming and yelling that they're going to jail when I just don't. Now, if I wake up in one day and there's an indictment, I'll be very happy. But I just don't see it happening. Don't see it happening.
Well, I would have figured this all out, and this would have already been taken care of. Indictments are issued, and that's the end of it. Listen. Yeah,
the highest we may get, the highest, I would expect something with Strzok, maybe, but I think that's about as high up. Sally Yates, Rod Rosenstein, I don't see much happening at that level. They're not even going to go to. See, these officials know too much about everybody in Washington. They know too much, and they're all crooks up there.
Yeah. When Rosenstein was on TV, he was in the background. I looked at him, and he looks like he was worried like nobody I've ever seen in my life. That man looked scared when he was up in front of the panel.
Yeah, and someone like Comey, who, by the way, Comey is a Republican, by the way. A lot of people don't know that, but, for whatever that means. Someone like Comey, you think Comey is going to do 2 minutes in the slammer? He would be singing like a canary, and he knows everything. Yeah. All right, Ray. Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate the call, Ray. Thanks so much. All right, take care. All right, let's take our last break of the first hour. See another realist. I know people get upset again. I'm not saying that they shouldn't. I'm just saying, come on, And if that's your standard, you're setting yourself up to be very disappointed. Really. All right, 1-888-GO Kane 1-888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call. 888-465-2631. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. And we were talking about cognition with Joe Biden. You know what Joe Biden really needs? Serious as hard. Dr. Mitch Matez. That's right. Dr. Mitch Matez. Hormone replacement pellet therapy restores cognition in people. That's right. Because that's part of the aging process that is reversed with hormone replacement pellet therapy. Let's check in with Dr. Matez talking about just that.
Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. You and I talk about cognition all the time when I call in. We have so many different options to try to help people with their cognition here. I will repeat what I say all the time. This is called age management, folks. It's not just, hey, come in, get some hormones and feel better. We have options. Hormones, by the way, is one of the greatest ways to get your cognition back, get your hormones back. We have other options. One of the biggest things going on these days is peptide therapy. These are actually FDA-approved therapies that are designed to help you regain your cognition. We have vitamins, intravenous vitamin therapies that are designed. All of these things, by the way, are absolutely 100% natural. This is exactly how the body is designed to have cognition. And Mr. Biden could avail himself of all of these things. Anybody out there, particularly if you identify with Joe Biden's problems here, a lot of us can.
That pot's too loud.
This one? Oh.
Yeah, that's your car machine.
Oh, okay.
A lot of people assume with aging,
Steve Kane Show.
these things are going to happen. I'm going to lose my sex drive. I'm going to lose my hair. I'm going to want to sleep in the middle of the day. I'm not going to have energy. I'm not going to be able to remember, forgetting things. That's just part of aging. Well, these things are true, but you can do something about it with hormone replacement pellet therapy. And
If you were calling in, call back. I
totally 100%
missed the calls.
natural process, right?
I was
These are
reading-
natural hormones that your body makes naturally.
That is correct. Everything I'm talking about.
Steve Kane Show.
The peptides are proteins that are in your
Thanks,
body that are specifically designed to improve the health of your cells. And by manipulating these things, we can help people get energy. We can help them lose body fat, increase their lean muscle mass, improve the health of their arteries, fix their fatty livers. There's a whole lot of things that can be done. It's all safe. It's all effective. It's all pretty easy. But you have to come and see us if you want to get it done.
Well, that's the first step. And the consultation with Dr. Mitch says, if you mention the Steve Kane Show, is totally free. So call his office, mention the Steve Kane Show, avail yourself of the no-charge consultation with Dr. Mitch Matez, 561-953-5490, 561-953-5490, online, hormone therapy, BocaRaton.com. All right, Dr. Matez, we will talk later in the week.
Yes, we will. Have a great day, Brian. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Yes, yes. All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. And today is the completion of our third week in the new studio, which is awesome. It's flying by. You know, Steve and I were talking this week that, I don't know, I think the show has been elevated quite a bit since we moved to this new studio. I liked our old studio, but this is so much better and more comfortable for both of us. And I think we're both better on the air here for whatever reason. Well, a lot of reasons, but I'm loving it in here. 3 weeks, that's right, that we've been here in the new studio in Boca. All right, let's go to the phones again. Sarah in Colorado. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Brian.
Hey, I saw your governor with the president the other day at the White House.
You know.
He didn't seem that bad. You were telling me that in Colorado and you weren't allowed to go 10 miles from your house recently because of your dim governor.
Well, we're still having problems with him. I mean, he's not fully getting on board either. He wants money, and
Of course, yes.
and it's not cool.
Steve Kane Show.
We want fully
Hey, Michael,
open
you're next. Hold on.
state like everybody else.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
I was gonna say I have to defend you, Brian.
Oh.
Look, I understand what you're saying. I totally do, because these criminals, they are criminals. But here's the problem, guys, also in the chat. The Congress, there
Maybe,
are
yeah.
some that are not.
It's more professional too, being at the radio. It's a nicer
care.
studio.
Like,
I
people
like
out
standing up
in
too.
trouble. They talk the talk, but they don't get up and.
Yeah. I mean, if this were reversed, like say this were reversed and they were Republicans and Democrats, this was done to, they'd all go to prison, you know. Like Iran-Contra, there were a lot. Even in Iran-Contra, though, which they did nothing wrong, including Oliver North, but there were convictions in Iran-Contra that were tossed out later on. So, high-ranking officials, they should not have even been convicted, Oliver North and the others. But regardless of that, nothing's going to happen to these people. It's just not going to happen. They know too much about everybody in Congress. It's just not going to happen.
Right. But if it does, it is going to have to take what Congress needs to do. So if you want to change that, you have to take charge of the voting like we should and vote out Lindsey Graham, McConnell, and we need to find people that are in the trunk.
Now, I didn't watch Tucker last night, but my wife was telling me that Tucker Carlson said Mitch McConnell's going to stop this from going the way that it should be because he's part of the swamp.
Yeah, well, we've got to, if you're going to change something and you want to change, you have to go from your local to there to make sure, because it is the we the people, and if you don't pay attention to who's running and who's not running, and you want to run.
Well, a lot of these people, like Trey Gowdy was like this. Trey Gowdy would get out there and he'd say all the right things, and then when it came down to it, he was nothing. Exactly. They never take it all the way because it's the DC swamp. I'm just being realistic, and it's all.
Well, I mean, I understand what everybody would like to do, but at the very end of all of our lives, we all will stand up against God.
Oh yes.
The judge.
That's correct. All right, Sarah in Colorado. Thanks so much. Take care. All right, let's go to Michael. Michael, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Well, two things. First of all, congratulations on 3 weeks at the new studio.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Two things. Number one, you must love being able to see sunlight as you're doing the show, and it is true. Technically speaking, the volume is equal to all the other stations now. So like when I would flip to you to put you on, I'd have to turn the volume up. So now it sounds really clear and.
Oh yeah, the sound quality is better. If I knew that this studio was available to us, we would have been here a long time ago. I didn't, because the studio that we use is not exclusively our studio. It's only used like once on the weekend. It's used on Saturday or Sundays, and during the week, no one else uses it. If you go to my Instagram, I took a really good photograph of the studio it's pretty cool, and I made a video that's up at SteveCaneShow.com, a tour of it, so you guys can check it out.
I have to think that all this information that's coming out, don't you think that this is just like the tip of the iceberg, that they've got so much more information and that's why they're not doing anything right now? Is that possible?
I think that the people that did this, which are Comey and Brennan, that they've got too much information about, like for example, Joe Biden with all this corruption with China and Ukraine, you really think Biden's alone? They're all crooks. They're all crooks, and someone like Brennan and Clapper, Rod Rosenstein and all the rest, they know all this. They're all part of the swamp, like Fauci. Fauci's just a doctor with some organization we never paid attention to, and look at how embedded he is. It's all one big happy family. I just don't see it happening. The only thing I expect are some low-level Strzok level people, maybe. But Strzok, Strzok is dangerous to them because Strzok was involved in everything, right? Flynn, the Hillary emails, everything. He knows so much, Peter Strzok.
How they try to spin it, I mean, the proof is right there. I mean, it's all obvious that what they've done. I mean, I don't think you're right. I don't think anybody high is going to go to jail in a high position. I think that they'll be disgraced. But right now, with the liberals, they still look at them put them on a pedestal. But what's going to get it to where the entire country realizes that they did something wrong?
I've seen exactly. I just don't, we're powerless. Look, they shut down the whole economy, and we were powerless to stop that. How are we going to get them to send these? This scandal that happened around Trump Tower is the biggest political scandal that has ever become public in the history of America. Nothing equals it. I know everybody talks about Watergate. Watergate was jaywalking compared to this. This was an attempt to change the election outcome, and then it morphed into a coup of the president.
Well, Brian, I gotta tell you, I can't remember who it was. I think it was on the Laura Ingraham show. I can't remember, but you may remember this. Somebody gave the example that, explained why Flynn was the target. And the whole thing was, yes, they started this whole investigation with the thought that Hillary was going to win and this would all go away. But once they realized that Trump won, they had to cover their tracks and they had to go after Flynn because he'd find out what was going on. Does that...
No, I don't believe any of that. I don't believe any of that. I know I've heard a lot of, that's what most people think. This is what I think. I think they were listening to everybody in Trump Tower, but they had to have a warrant on someone, and they knew Flynn was in discussions with this Russian ambassador. They used that to get a warrant, and they were listening and recording everyone. Flynn was just an excuse.
Weren't there moles in there too?
I don't know. You know, they sent people in. I mean, but they were listening to everyone, including. Remember, Trump came out during the campaign and said Obama's spying on me, and everyone laughed. And I can't find that clip online. I was looking for that clip this week. I could not find the audio of that online. If anybody has that, send it to me. I'd love to play it on the radio every day. And you know, so they were listening to everyone. Yeah. Flynn was just an excuse for the warrant.
It's just like when he said, "I won't accept the results of the election until and then they said, "Oh, that's against democracy." And then what do they do the entire?
You know, listen, they all should go to jail, including Obama, because Obama was involved in this, and some big stuff came out about Obama this week. But I don't think it's realistic, and I can't go on the air like Hannity and a lot of these people and act like they're all getting locked up and get everybody all jazzed up about it. If it happens, I'll be shocked and happy, very, very excited. But I just don't. It's like Hillary. During that whole thing, I would say they're not going to bring charges against a former first lady. It's not going to happen, and people get pissed at that. But let's be real here.
But you know what, Brian? I'll be damned if they'll try to do that to Trump though. And when he's done, they'll try it.
Oh yeah. And his kids are, Don Jr. is going to have a life of pain. They're never gonna lay off. All right, appreciate the call. Take care, man. All right, let's take one more call before the top. Good morning. You are on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Yeah, Richie.
You guys, I saw yesterday. I saw that guy come up, the whistleblower. I listened to him. The guy that's going to get fired. And Trump didn't do anything. Trump. I want everyone out there to listen to what I'm going to say here. If you're dying, you don't give a damn whether something's gone through a damn trial test or not. If there's any kind of chance that it could save you, you're going to take that chance. These scientists like Fauci and all of these people, they got to go, we have to have testing and we have to have this shot, that shot while somebody's dying. They're talking about that medication that Trump kept pushing.
The malaria drug.
Yeah, this guy's a dirtbag. I mean, you got to have clinical trials. These scientists are so stuffy and it's so up there behind.
Well, they don't view people as people. They're the Fauci scientist level, right? These aren't like your family physician. They're not like Dr. Matez. All they see are numbers on printouts. People are statistics to them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. If you're dying, and they're telling you that malaria drug they were giving people this thing when they were on their deathbed. The idea is to give it to you before you get really sick. I mean,
Well, there's some things that we haven't seen. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, was on death's door, and he recovered rather quickly. I have heard nothing about what treatment he keeps praising the health service over there. Doesn't tell us what he took. Fredo, his wife and his kid all come down with corona. They all recovered. We've not heard any bit of their treatment when he's live talking about it every day. If they took the malaria drug, tell us. If they didn't, tell us. But the fact that they're not telling us what treatment protocols they went under, I think are pretty telling.
You're right.
I think they all took it. I think Boris Johnson took it. I think Fredo took it. I think all these high-profile people took it. But because they hate Trump, they don't want to tell people.
If you're dying, man, you like if anyone out there, if somebody gives you an idea, hey, look, try this. It could work, it might not, but you have nothing to lose, like Trump said, and that's why I hate Trump.
Yeah, that's right. All right, we got to run for the top. Thanks so much, Richie the bus driver. It's 7:02. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Adrienne Kane, Steve's daughter, and I want to tell you about my MyPillow mattress. I was talking to Dad, and I was telling him I wasn't sleeping at night. I was tossing and turning all night long. I had an old, worn-out, lumpy, bumpy mattress that was so uncomfortable, I wasn't getting any sleep. A couple of days later, there was a knock at the door, and it was a MyPillow mattress. I slept on it that night, and ever since I've been sleeping the whole night through. No more tossing, no more turning, and when my alarm goes off in the morning, I'm up and ready to go and well rested. Give your kids, grandkids, spouse, or yourself the gift of a good night's sleep with a MyPillow mattress. Go to MyPillow.com and use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. When you use the promo code KANE, you can save up to $300 off your MyPillow mattress. They come in all sizes, from twin to California king and every size in between. Go to MyPillow.com and be sure to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, and give the gift of a MyPillow mattress. Worth its weight in restful sleep.
Be right back, guys.
Siegel Law Group, my good friend Barry Siegel. Barry, how are you doing today?
Steve, good morning. I'm having a great morning. How are you?
I'm having a great morning and looking forward to our breakfast next week.
Me too, Steve. Always look forward to seeing you. Today I want to talk about an area of your overall estate plan that doesn't necessarily have to deal with your assets. It has to do with important decisions that need to be made during your lifetime, and that deals with your health care documents. That's part of a good estate plan. There are three essential health care documents that are part of a great estate plan. One is your healthcare surrogate designation, which allows you to name those who you give the responsibility of making important medical decisions for you if you don't have the...
So, I talked about this earlier. I've got a guest coming on at 7:30, 25 minutes. It's not going to be on YouTube. I'm going to stop the YouTube feed. Before the guest comes on, you're going to have to listen either on the radio or on iHeartRadio or TuneIn or SteveKingShow.com, all right? And then I'll come back at 8. But that interview will not be on YouTube. Just so you all know.
Or a persistent vegetative state like that Joe Chicago had over in that Clearwater case many years ago, then it says you either want the machines keeping you alive, helping you breathe, and the feeding tube and the water tube, or you want those things removed.
I'm not going to tell you who the guest is. You'll find out on the air.
Is the HIPAA authorization, and that's so important. The HIPAA, that's it. That stands for Health Information Portability and Accountability Act.
If you're in South Florida, you can listen on one of our radio stations. If not, the iHeartRadio app or the TuneIn app. Search for us by our station, call letters WWNN. 2 W's, 2 N's, or SteveKingShow.com.
Other medical providers, but not with anyone else. But with your HIPAA document in your estate planning, it says the medical provider not to share your medical information with anyone except for the people you list on that document, such as your spouse or your
iHeartRadio or TuneIn.
Your children or friends, whoever you name.
It is a rainy day in Florida. And also I have a Patreon. If you want to support me and my content, I have a Patreon. There's a link in the description of the video if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter.
All right, there you have it. If you want to make an appointment with Attorney Barry Siegel, you're going to find him a delight to deal with, very knowledgeable, and he can help you solve those problems that are, for some people, very difficult to solve. Call to make that appointment, 1-855, that's toll free, by the way, 1-855-FLA 3782. Barry, good talking to you. We'll speak soon, all right?
Okay, Steve.
Take care.
Sure.
All right.
You You are listening to South Florida's largest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show.
No hints.
Call the show
No hints.
free. Dial 1-888-GO-GAIN-1. That's 1-888-GO-GAIN-1.
All right, 7:07. Hour number 2 has begun. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. That's right, and lots happening. Steve, of course, will be here today in the 8 o'clock hour. Ed Pasquale will be here, first time in our new studio, which, our old studio was like right across the street from Ed's house. Now he's got to drive across town to get here, but he'll be here in the 8 o'clock hour. And at 7:30, we have a guest, which no one knows who they are, but me, well, my wife knows, and the guests themselves. But we do have a guest on the show at 7:30 that you will not want to miss. I promise you that. Okay, so not that you would miss that portion of the show anyway, but we've got a great guest coming on at 7:30. You will not want to miss. I'm very much looking forward to talking to this person. Before I get back to the politics of what's going on here, I wanted to play this audio. Someone tried something. This shooting in Georgia, I mean, I think it's god awful what happened. The guys weren't arrested. I've been talking about it, I guess, I don't know, since last week when that very disturbing video came out, which, in my opinion, based on the information we have now, is looked like a lynching to me. And I know a lot of people don't like that, but that's what it looked like to me. I'm going to call a spade, and I don't care if he was burglarizing the whole neighborhood. It did not justify what happened. Did not justify it. And the sad reality is, other than the fact that Arbery was murdered by those rednecks in the pickup truck with the 12 gauge, I think it's likely they're going to be acquitted. Just like George Zimmerman when he murdered Trayvon Martin. So, and someone online, a white guy here in Florida, did something that I thought was interesting. I'm going to play you the audio of it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this at 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. I know a lot of people think I sound like a liberal. I don't think I sound like a liberal. Just because I support the Second Amendment doesn't mean I support that. Okay, I'm sorry to tell you. And by the way, the president seems to agree with me. You may not have talked about it in as much detail. That's Donald Trump, by the way. And also, Candace Owens said she that on Twitter that he did not deserve to die. So there you have it. So so I think I'm in good company. Candace Owens and President Trump. I know I don't even know if I can call a spade a spade. I almost didn't say it as the words were coming out of my mouth. I almost chose another phrase. But anyway, so this white guy here in Florida made a video that's pretty funny, doing a little experiment. He, and I'll play you the audio. I'll describe it a little bit to you before I play it. He started running down the street carrying a TV on his shoulder to see if anything would happen. All right, so here it is. White man running down the street with a television.
Hey guys, good morning, nice leisurely jog here in the south, in the suburb, carrying a TV, and perfectly safe. Wonder why that is. I run with Ahmad.
Ahmad is, like, he's running with Ahmad, which Ahmad was Arbery's first name, who was murdered in Georgia. So he's got this TV, it's a flat screen, on his shoulder, running down, he needs to keep running because he's out of shape. See if anybody says anything, stops him, calls the popo.
Hey guys, going on a nice leisurely jog here in the south, in the suburb, carrying a TV, and perfectly safe. Wonder why that is. I run with Ahmad. All right, I figured it out. I got my hat on backwards. I'm shirtless.
Okay, so no one said anything. No one stopped him. So he took his shirt off, put his hat on backwards to look a little more thuggish, and now he's going to continue to run with the TV on his shoulder down the street.
All right, I figured it out. I got my hat on backwards. I'm shirtless, like I'm on some episode of Cops. I'm running with the TV. Someone's gonna stop me now for sure. Because if not, what was the problem with the mod? Hey guys, going on a nice leisurely jog here in the south, in the suburb, carrying a TV, and perfectly safe.
There you go. So that was it. I mean, so, you know, I don't know if that's a scientific experiment, but it's an experiment. And you know what? He could run down any street in America during the day like a mod with a TV on his shoulder, and no one would think he stole it. So there is come on. There is an element of race. To deny that there's some racism out there is just absurd. Now, you know, I am very lucky that I live in Florida. Florida is open for business again, which is very exciting. And as I predicted, Broward and Dade County caved and opened up on Monday. We're talking about this, everything, Broward and Dade are going to open up. Everything's going to be open up except the beaches. Beaches will open up after Memorial Day in Broward and Dade. The Democrats around this country that have tried to keep this economy shut down are failing. Now, there may be some isolated governors, Democrat governors like this lunatic in Michigan. I mean, she doesn't look sane to me. She does not look sane to me. But there are some Democrat governors, Virginia, New York, California, Michigan, maybe a couple other isolated areas, where governors are out of control punishing people. And they're all going to lose this. First off, the people they're punishing are their Democrat constituents. So that's not going to be helping. That's not going to hurt Trump and help the Democrats because they're pissing off their Democrat constituents. They're Democrat governors. Okay? But because other things are open, when the governor opened Florida up 2 weeks ago, the 3 Democrat strongholds of Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach stayed closed because they're trying to screw Trump by staying closed. And there's a domino effect. Palm Beach County, the northern border of Palm Beach County is Martin County. Martin County is where Dan Bongino lives. It is the most Republican community I've ever been to in my life. When you go to Martin County, I mean, you're in Trump land. It's beautiful. I mean, you know. And Martin County opened up, the Republican county that borders Palm Beach. And people in northern Palm Beach are like, how is it I can drive across the street and sit down and have a meal or get my hair cut and do everything I want to do, but we can't hear. So domino effect to put pressure on Palm Beach. And I told you when Palm Beach opened, it was announced last Friday that Palm Beach was going to open up. Palm Beach opened up this Monday. I said Broward and Dade are going to be next. Domino effect, and sure enough, I was right. Same thing's happening and will happen at the state level. These Democrat governors are surrounded by states that are open for business. And what you have, you know what the Democrats are doing again? You know what they're really doing? They're trying to form, once again, their own confederacy of states. Right? New York, New Jersey. You know, those you know, they got, what's the other state they got there with them? Is it Connecticut, Rhode Island? One of the other states are going along with Cuomo a lot. Michigan, Virginia, California, with President Cuomo as the president of the Confederacy of 2020. That's what's going on. But they're surrounded by states that are open for business. So that's putting pressure on those states to reopen. And you even see inside the states that are shut down, maybe we could call them the slave states, because they are in a way. Look at the pressure they're under. They have chiefs of police and sheriffs who won't enforce the law. And you keep hearing these stories. Listen to this story. This is a heartbreaking story. This is a store owner. He owns a music store, and he's in Michigan. Steve Walker, owner of Walker Music and Textiles Company in Hastings, Michigan, wept as he spoke with WAXMI television during a recent interview in which he said Michigan's lockdown order has forced him and his wife out of business. Walker puts a very human face on Governor Whitmer's broad lockdown order, and for him, Walker Music was more than a business. It was a dream come true. Unfortunately, that dream is dead. Through his tears, he told the local television station that the closure of his business will have far-reaching implications for him and all those with whom he shared the gift of music at his store. He says, "This store is my dream, shutting it down, closing out this phase of my life," he says. "It won't be a retail shop anymore. It won't be an inviting environment for kids to come and be loved and to learn and enjoy music." He opened his store 11 years ago, and boom, it's gone now because of the lockdown. And she doesn't give a damn. You know, if the governor of Michigan refused to take a salary during this, at least she would look like she was living the, through it with everyone else. She's still getting paid. Her people are getting. Why can't she go to work? Why can the press go to work, but a music shop guy can't? I've been to retail stores. I've been to our mall, which is open. Everyone is self-policing with social distancing everywhere. These Democrats, it's beyond trying to hurt Trump now in places like Michigan. It's an ego thing. They love the power. And the governor of Michigan, what she's telling herself is, if I were she's got that Sarah Palin-like accent. If I were a man, they wouldn't be doing this. They're just standing up to me because I'm a woman, and they, that's what she's telling herself. It's an ego trip with her right now. An ego trip. Not a power trip, an ego trip. Now, New York's another story. That's an ego trip. He's enjoying the power. Fredo's brother, Governor Cuomo. But Governor Whitmer, I don't know when she's up for re-election, but she does not look lucid to me. There's something about her eyes. Look at her eyes when she speaks. All right, let's take our break. It's 18 minutes after 7. I'm Brian Craig. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll go to our phones after the break. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back.
So you've been told you need a health test. What are you going to have to pay? Health test can be very expensive. If you
Steve
go to
Kane
the
Show.
doctor's office or one of the big labs, it can cost you hundreds of dollars. Sometimes
Hey, John,
I haven't had
hold
a
on.
lab test because of the cost. Then I discovered any lab test now with Coral Springs. Any lab test now with Coral Springs' goal is to get you all the lab tests you need, save you money, and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At any lab test now with Coral Springs, you never need an appointment.
Now, don't forget, at the 7:30 break, I'm going to shut down YouTube. I got an interview coming up. It will not be on YouTube.
Big labs or your doctor's office charge. Give them a call.
I'll come back at 8, but the interview will be over, so you're going to have to listen on iHeartRadio or on the radio.
5983. Any lab test now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Any lab test now of Coral Springs. Private and affordable lab testing. 954-906-5983.
Now,
the owner of Ace Hardware,
if it was a lady for the mall, it would be on YouTube.
Would you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus?
We're on 4 stations, AM 1470, 95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, and 103.9 FM. Or the iHeartRadio or TuneIn app, 2 W's, 2 N's, WWNN, our call letters. You will not want to miss the guest, I promise.
Cover your face, though. We've got a supply of bandanas. I'd love every one of your customers that come in a free bandana just for mentioning the Steve Kane Show. The bandanas are face covering, and the cities are going to require, as we start to go back to work and get out, that everybody's required to have their face covered. So you can use this bandana to cover your mouth and your nose and protect you and protect all those around you. The other thing is, while you're home, why don't you get that honeydew list done? It's that painting project or sprinkler supply, or maybe treat yourself to a new growth.
Wow, what a great deal. These bandanas are reusable because you can wash them. So stop into Ace Hardware in Deerfield, just south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of US 1, and Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea, and get your free bandana from Ace Hardware. Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll free, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's the number 1, Kane spelled with a K, K-A-N-E, 888-465-2631. You're on the radio. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is John from Wellington.
John in Wellington. What's up?
Something dawned on me the other day, and I haven't heard any of these so-called experts bring it up, not Fauci, not Birx, none of them. The left wants to keep us in lockdown until everybody in the United States is inoculated or until this virus has been beaten. But the question is, what happens when this virus evolves or mutates into something stronger? Viruses do that all the time.
Well, the problem, everything with the law is done by precedent. And they have, without passing any legislation, not governors and even local officials at county and city levels have really overstepped their power, but they've set a legal precedent. And we very well could see a situation where they've already said we're going to have a double flu season. It's going to be flu and corona season. And I would not be surprised if next year you see governors and local communities do a pre-shutdown to make sure that it doesn't spread before anything's even happened. I could see that happening. Yeah.
On me the other day too. I wouldn't be at all surprised if after the November election, when Mr. Trump wins his re-election, all this stuff just vanishes. It just blows away in the wind like so much pixie dust.
Yeah, well, they'll just move on to something else unless we retake the House of Representatives. If we don't retake the House of Representatives, it's going to be he could likely get impeached again.
Taking the House, keeping the Senate, that's an absolute must.
That is. It is. It is. I do have one concern, though. I just bring this up. Well, I'm concerned about Texas turning Democrat. And I'll tell you what I mean by that. Elon Musk and Joe Rogan have both talked about moving to Texas. And we're going to get there's going to be a mass exodus from California when this is over. Because they're basically living in North Korea there now. They are really, it's pretty bad out there. And what most Californians are doing that are talking about leaving are going to Texas. And if enough of them do that, we could lose Texas to the Democrats.
Valid concern, but I don't see that happening this time.
Well, not this time, but down the road. And without Texas, we're done. We're done without Texas.
On a time, Massachusetts was a Republican state, heavy duty, and now it's...
Yeah, remember Pierre Delecto used to be the governor there, Mitt Romney.
Yep, I know it.
All right, John in Wellington, take care. All right, you're on the radio. Good morning. Hey, Doug.
Man, as usual, you're right on everything. But the one thing I think you're wrong is I think California is going to probably turn red. How the hell can anybody want to vote for that? Anybody that's a Democrat, what they're doing to people,
See, a lot of Democrats like the government telling them what to do. They like their loss of freedom because they think there's a Democrat phrase that they used to throw around all the time. The masses are asses. You ever heard that phrase? That's a Democrat phrase. So a lot of Democrats like this. They enjoy it.
But most people, when they say you can walk or run on the beach, but you can't stand on the beach unless you're fishing, that's how about the other jerk who says, no matter how big your boat is, you can only have 2 people on a boat. What kind of idiot doesn't know that once you have a boat certain size, you need a crew, so you can't ever use your boat?
Well, Broward and Dade are reopening on Monday, so you can sit down at a restaurant. And the Dade County rules for restaurants, I was reading through them this morning in the Miami Herald. And one of them is, this is in Dade, in Miami. I don't know what the Broward rules will be yet. But Broward usually just does whatever Dade County does, right? So I don't know. They said in Dade County, you can only sit 4 at a table in a restaurant unless you live in the same household. Well, I could sit with 20 people and say we all live in the same household. What are they going to do? I mean, it's just stupid. And this is the largest surrender of liberty that Americans have ever given up at once without any legislation. You understand that? Our freedom of movement, our freedom of association and assembly, many other freedoms, we've just surrendered them without much of a debate.
Such politics. One state wants you to get ID from everybody coming into the...
Yeah, I think Wisconsin, it is. They want restaurants to take ID from everyone that comes in case somebody gets corona, they can see who they had contact with. So it's not just ID. You got to document who they are, where they were, when they were there. Give me a break.
Unbelievable. These people were really, the power has got, first it was to try to hurt Trump and not care even about their own Democrats, but now it's got the power.
Well, listen, down the road, this is going to be a long way off, but it'll happen. Once there will be a Democrat president again, and they'll also control, both houses and the governors and the way that you've seen them do over this national crisis without any legislation, take rights away like that, and in some places they don't want to ever give them back. You see how they're holding on to them in California, Virginia. Would you be surprised if Democrats issued executive orders restricting all kinds of human activity because of the climate crisis that they're always whining about? Would that shock you?
Oh no, definitely.
I could see an executive order from governors prohibiting certain vehicles like that because of the climate crisis.
Putting this corona thing, how wonderful it is, that's making the climate better. They show pictures of the cities clear. Well, that's because of maybe a windy day, but the cities are still just.
If the planet, when I see like the jellyfish and Venice and all this stuff, not Italy, not Venice, Florida, but it really shows you that everything they've said about climate change is a lie. Because look at how quickly Mother Nature has taken over in some of these areas. If the planet were damaged like they said, it wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't see the clear waters with jellyfish in Venice.
Just to bother people. I don't know what's wrong with you. I'm thinking the Democrat Party is on its way out.
Nah, they're not on their way out. Believe me, and they'll be back one day. There will be a Democrat president again one day. Don't worry. All right, got to run, but thanks for the call, conservative.org. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour. After the bottom of the hour break, we have a guest that you will not want to miss. I promise you. I'm not going to tell you who the guest is. You'll find out after the break. And in the 8 o'clock hour, Steve will be here, of course, and Ed Pasquale will be joining us in the 8 o'clock hour. But we got a guest coming up after the bottom of the hour break that I promise you none of you will want to miss. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM,
Steve Kane Show.
and AM 1470, WWNN Pompano Beach.
Steve Kane Show.
The Florida Money Talk Network.
All right, guys, you're going to have to listen on iHeartRadio or the radio. I'll be back on YouTube at 8, but if you want to hear the guest, you got to go somewhere else, all right? Tune in, WWNN on iHeart, or the TuneIn app, SteveKaneShow.com, or one of our radio stations. All right, see you in a bit.
Sponsors